Hi everybody, welcome to a brand new lecture of the Ankit Faria Certified Ethical Hacker course. Up until now, we have discussed a lot about step number 1, step number 2 and step number 5 of a hacker. Step number 1 being identify the victim, step number 2 being network reconnaissance and information gathering, and step number 5 being escaping without a trace. Now for the first time in today's lecture, we are actually going to start focusing on step number 3 and step number 4, which is finding loopholes on the victim's computer and actually attacking the victim's computer or actually hacking into the victim's computer. So one by one, we'll be discussing a wide variety of different types of attacks that are possible using which you as a criminal can actually hack into the victim's computer. See, what happens is that once you have done the network reconnaissance and information gathering, you analyze the information that you have collected and look for some kind of loopholes that exist on the victim's computer, and then you exploit those loopholes to actually infiltrate into the victim's computer. Now in today's lecture, we'll actually be talking about attacks that you can execute against home users. And later on in the course, we'll be discussing how you can attack maybe websites or networks or large corporations as well. So today's lecture is primarily focused on attacks against individual users or home users, and we'll be starting by discussing a wide variety of different spoofing attacks, and then we'll discuss Trojans, we'll discuss keyloggers, we'll discuss spyware tools, we'll discuss data hiding and encryption techniques as well. So that's generally the overview of what we're going to discuss in today's lecture. And it's going to be a lot of fun because for the first time in the course, we're going to actually start talking about real hacks or real attacks that you can actually execute against other people. Now, before I do actually start with the main portion of today's lecture, a quick warning, a quick reminder. India does have cyber laws, and please do not misuse any of the information and knowledge that we're sharing in this particular course, because the consequences can be deadly for you. There are heavy fines that are imposed if you get caught for committing a cyber crime. You could be arrested. You may be sent to jail as well. The purpose of this course is to educate you about the tools, techniques, and methods that are commonly used by criminals to hack into computers, so that you can then prepare yourself or educate yourself or be ready for attacks that may get executed against you. So that's basically the idea behind sharing all this knowledge and all this information with all of you. Please be very careful and do not misuse any of the knowledge that I'm going to give you. So on that note, let's go ahead and switch to my computer. I'd like to start with the PowerPoint slides of the day. The first type of attack that I wanted to actually discuss with all of you is actually a very interesting attack known as email spoofing. Email spoofing, like the name suggests, is a technique that allows you as a criminal to send a fake or a spoofed email from somebody else's email account without knowing their password. Yes, you heard it right. Email spoofing allows you to send an email from somebody else's email account, almost as if it was like a real email, and you don't even need to hack into that person's email account. And the way email spoofing works is actually extremely easy. Before I give you a demonstration, let me share with you some examples. So imagine using email spoofing. It may be possible for you as a criminal to send a fake or spoofed email from maybe a principal's email account to all faculty members and students, announcing that there is no need for attendance for the next 2-3 weeks. Or, using email spoofing, you may be able to send an email from your boss's email account to all your colleagues, all your customers in your company. Or you could also use email spoofing to send a spoofed email from your best friend's email account to his or her boyfriend or girlfriend, creating problems between the two. And what I like to actually show to all of you today is how to send a spoofed email from billgates@microsoft.com to a friend of yours, offering your friend a job with Bill Gates at Microsoft. Yes, email spoofing allows you to do all of this. So let me now give you a live demonstration of how easy it is to send spoofed emails. There's a very interesting website which I like to share with all of you. The website address is now displayed on the screen. It is anonymizer.in/fake-mailer. I repeat, anonymizer.in/fake-mailer. So that is the website which allows you to send spoofed emails from somebody else's email account. So let me quickly open up this website in my browser. And if all of you look at the screen, this is what the website looks like. There is basically an online form in this particular website, and you've got to fill up this online form to send that spoofed email. So please remember, in today's example, I would like to send a spoofed email from billgates@microsoft.com to a friend of mine offering my friend a job with Bill Gates. So let's accordingly fill up this form. Step number 1, you got to type in the sender's email address in the space provided. So in this case, the sender is billgates@microsoft.com. So I type billgates@microsoft.com over here. The recipient in this case is a friend of mine, or I could actually send this to myself or to any other email address of my choice. So let me send this to a friend, varunswaroop@hotmail.com. Next comes the subject of the email. So the subject of the email is going to be job proposal. And finally, in this space provided, you can type the actual body of the email. So let me go ahead and type something like, Dear Varun, heard a lot about you from my representatives in India. Would you like to work as part of my personal technical advisory team here in Redmond, USA? Of course, a 7-figure US dollar salary will be offered to you. Please call me at your convenience on my personal cell phone. That's not the real number, stop copying it down. Thanks a ton. Warm regards, Bill. Or maybe Billu. And when you're ready to send the email, all you gotta do is copy these characters down and click on the send button. And as soon as you click send, a few minutes later, when my friend checks his inbox, he would have received an email from billgates@microsoft.com offering him a job with Bill Gates at Microsoft. As simple as that. And the best part is, when my friend opens the email will look very real, very authentic, almost as if Bill Gates himself has typed that email and sent it to my friend. And the absolutely best part is, when my friend replies to the email, the reply will go back to billgates@microsoft.com. So as you can clearly see, email spoofing is extremely, extremely dangerous, but at the very same time, it's extremely easy to execute as well. And I'm going to try and open up an email from Bill Gates that I had received a few months ago and show it to all of you, just to give you an idea of what it kind of looks like. And if all of you look at the screen, let me kind of make it full screen. If all of you look at the screen, it says, Dear Ankit, heard a lot about you from my representatives in India. And if you look at this header, it says from billgates@microsoft.com to farierankit@gmail.com. Subject is job proposal. And I did try to reply to the email. I said, of course, sir, love to work with you, but salary should be 9 figures instead of 7 figures. But obviously, it's not a real email address, and it bounced back because Bill Gates' email address is something else. So the point of this demonstration is that email spoofing is extremely easy to execute, extremely dangerous, because most people, when they receive an email, they blindly trust it. They're not going to sit and open the email headers, investigate, and check where the email originated. Now, the obvious thing that comes to mind is, how do you figure out whether an email that you have received is real or whether it is fake or spoofed? Now, if you remember the first lecture, or I think the second lecture where we discussed email header analysis, so we could actually analyze this fake email headers and try to analyze whether it's actually being sent from Bill Gates at Microsoft.com or not. So let us quickly do that. So this is the email that I've received from Bill Gates. I'm obviously very excited and very happy to receive an email from Bill Gates offering me a job, but I'm a little bit suspicious. So let me try and figure out whether it's actually Bill Gates or whether somebody is playing a prank on me. So step number 1 should be, you have to open the email headers of that email. So I click on Show Original. And the email headers have now been displayed on the screen. So I copy the email headers and paste them into a notepad file. So these are the email headers of the email that Bill Gates sent me. So let's try to investigate this email header. So first of all, I'll get rid of all those lines that are not very useful. So I'll only keep the lines that start with the word received. So this is one line that starts with the word received. Another line. A third line. And so on. So the trick, if you remember, is to look at the bottommost received line. So in the bottommost received line, if you look at the line itself, it says received from bt.foo.org, localhost 127.0.0.1. So that itself sounds very suspicious, right? Because normally if an email has come from the domain Microsoft.com, because the email address is Bill Gates at Microsoft.com, so if an email has come from the domain Microsoft.com, usually in the received lines, you will see the email server of a domain Microsoft.com. So it will be something like mail.microsoft.com or mail2.microsoft.com or something like that. But here, the email server itself is foo.org or something like that, which is pretty suspicious. And in the bottommost received line, the IP address of the sender is not getting revealed because only the localhost IP address has been displayed. So you can skip this received line. Let's look at the second from the bottom received line, where it says that fail google.com domain of bt.foo.org does not designate so-and-so as permanent sender. So that again is a big warning sign that the email that you've received is actually a spoofed email. So here we have an IP address. So let's see. Let's try to trace this IP address and let's see where this IP address leads us to. So I'm going to open up my browser and I'm going to connect to whatismyipaddress.com. I will click on IP lookup. And I'm going to paste that IP address over here. Click on lookup IP address. And if all of you look at the screen, the IP address was traced to the ISP Tata Communications and the location was Mumbai, Maharashtra, India. So unless Bill Gates had come to Mumbai, Maharashtra to send me this email, it clearly shows that this is a spoofed email. So normally if actually Bill Gates has sent this email, the location should show up as Seattle, Redmond or somewhere in the US, and the ISP or the network should be Microsoft or some American ISP. It cannot be an Indian ISP if Bill Gates had sent an email from America to me. So that clearly tells us that the email that I have received is obviously a spoofed email. So as you can clearly see, whenever you receive a spoofed email, you can actually trace it back. However, that does not mean that email spoofing is not dangerous. The problem is that on a day-to-day basis, you may receive say 100 emails. Now you're not going to sit and open the email headers of every one of those 100 emails, trace it and then check whether it is real or fake. So nobody has the time or the bandwidth, or it's just so cumbersome. As a result, most people don't bother to check whether an email is spoofed or real, which is what makes email spoofing so dangerous. It's extremely easy to execute. You don't need to know programming. It's free. Anybody can do it. And yet it's at the same time extremely dangerous. So that is what email spoofing is all about. What is the solution against email spoofing? You can have a strong anti-spam software which actually analyzes the email headers for every incoming email, and it can actually filter out spoofed emails. So a lot of the large companies install anti-spam software that prevents email spoofing from taking place. So that concludes the first demonstration of today's lecture, which is email spoofing. Let's take things to the next level. Email spoofing is great, but what's even better than email spoofing? Any guesses? What's even better than email spoofing? Let me give you a hint. It's SMS spoofing. SMS spoofing, like the name suggests, is a technique that allows you to send a fake or a spoofed SMS from somebody else's mobile phone number to any other mobile phone number of your choice. So imagine, if I am a criminal, right now I could send a spoofed SMS from your cell phone number to maybe your parents' cell phone number, saying that college fees need to be paid. Today is the last date. Please transfer 1 lakh rupees to the below ICICI bank account number. And the bank account number that I will write will not be your college's bank account number. It will actually be my bank account number. So imagine there are maybe 100, 200 students attending today's lecture. Imagine if I send an SMS to all 100, 200 students, out of which even if 5 parents or even if 3 parents fall for the trick and transfer the 1 lakh rupees, I would have made a cool profit of 3 lakh rupees. That just tells you how dangerous SMS spoofing is. Because the best part or the worst part about SMS spoofing is that when your parents get that SMS and when they open it and they read it, it will look very real, very authentic. It will look like it is a real SMS. By just looking at the SMS, your parents will not be able to figure out whether it is real or whether it is fake. And the name, the sender's name that will show up on your parent's cell phone will be whatever name your parents have used to save your mobile phone number. So a lot of times parents will use your nickname to save your mobile phone number. So that nickname will show up on the screen. So imagine it's very customized, it is very personalized, and is extremely dangerous. And how can you perform SMS spoofing? Simply start your browser and connect to this very interesting website known as spranked.com. spranked.com. So let me quickly open up this website for all of you. So the website address is spranked.com, and the way it works is on the right hand side you have an online form. So you type the from mobile phone number. So make sure you type the country code, that is +91. Then you select the to country. So select India. Type the to cell phone number. Then type the actual SMS. College fees need to be paid, or whatever, right? Click on I agree and click on the submit button. And within a few seconds, when your parents check their mobile phone, they would have received a spoofed SMS from you asking you to pay the college fees. As simple as that. The only problem with this website is it is unfortunately not free. So it can cost you anywhere between $1 to $2 per SMS that you want to send, which is between 60 to 120 rupees per spoofed SMS that you want to send. Now that might sound like a lot of money, but then this is an extremely dangerous attack because it's very powerful. You are really breaching somebody else's trust and privacy by sending out a spoofed SMS from any cell phone number of your choice. Now, along with sprank.com, there's another website which I like to recommend to all of you called smsgang.com. smsgang.com. Like the description says, spoof SMS service, send anonymous SMS from any number or any name. So it kind of works just like sprank, and it's extremely dangerous. I personally prefer smsgang.com only because it's more reliable. You fill up this form, you may have to register for a PIN code or a password by making a payment. You can pay using PayPal, WebMoney, or any credit card, and you can send a spoofed SMS. As simple as that. So that is smsgang.com. You can also do a free test. So you can type your own cell phone number here, and you can try to do a quick free test to see whether it works there in your mobile phone or not. And if you notice, if you scroll down and look at India, pretty much all mobile phone operators are supported. Aircel, BPL, BSNL, and so on. All of them are supported. Bharti, which is Airtel, Vodafone, Reliance, all of them are supported. Spice. So no matter what kind of operator, mobile operator you're using, a spoofed SMS can be sent to you using this particular website. So let me quickly go back to the PowerPoint slides. This is sprank.com, then smsgang.com. There's yet another website called phonytext.com, phonytext.com. So that concludes a lot of the spoofing techniques of this course. So if you remember earlier in this course, we have discussed how to change your IP address or how to hide your IP address. Then we discussed MAC spoofing. Then today we have discussed email spoofing and SMS spoofing as well. Now while we are talking about spoofing, I'll also like to mention something known as a disposable email service. A disposable email service is basically a service where you are given a temporary email account which you can use for a few days or a few weeks or a few months, after which automatically that email account will get deleted. So there will be no trace left behind of that email account. So if you remember that website, hidemyass.com, they have this service of anonymous email that you can actually use to, number one, protect your privacy. A lot of times, some companies or some